Riveting Radio on Echoplex Media, live.
See the same people every other day, but we never say hey, cause we're never looking the way, or my face was in my notebook. We passed each other, didn't look. But these are the people of the towns, of the towns, the towns, of the towns. And large cities are just a bunch of big small towns, overlapping side by side, big small towns. I see new people every day. Everyone's on their way, doing the things that failed their day. And I'm going places too, doing the things that I do with my time. We are the people of the towns, of the towns, the towns, of the towns. And large cities are just a bunch of big small towns, big small towns, diagonal, top to bottom, big small towns. Be nice to the people of the towns. Once in a while look around, cause what's going around's coming around. What came around's coming around. What's going around's coming around. Big, 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 small towns. Word gets around in the big small towns. Big, 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 small towns. Word gets around in the big small towns. Big, 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 small towns. Word gets around in the big small towns.
Hey everybody, welcome to Downballot. We do this show almost every Tuesday right here on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Echoplex Media. You can support this project at echoplexmedia.com. Click the support link and pick your favorite way to support the project, I suppose. I'm producer Dave. You can find me on Blue Sky, and I've been saying it's been Plex Dave. It's Plex-Dave. So you'll have to update your updates there. And what's up, Councilman?
Oh, snap. Yeah, this is the councilman. Apparently, I've been tagging the wrong account. So apologies to Plex Dave without the dash. You've been seeing a whole bunch of random ass shit about this podcast and other local derp here in the Bay Area. But happy to be with you as always, producer Dave. You can find me also on Blue Sky. It's PJ Allen TWO, PJ Allen 2, on the Blue Sky thingy. So please check me out there. I would love to get more followers there than I used to have on X, and I didn't have that many, so it shouldn't be too big of a lift. Help me out, folks. And then these days, you can also find me chasing around after the bad baby, cleaning up her poo, because we're potty training, and it's freaking glorious.
Oh, wonderful. Sounds fun. Never been gladder in your life that your house is mostly hardwood, huh?
Absolutely. Are you kidding? Yeah. We have a couple rugs that probably will never forgive us. But yeah, mostly hardwood and tile and linoleum from like the 1970s. So it's durable. And it's also brown too. My grandparents invested in this really ugly ass brown linoleum, but at the time they weren't thinking about like, how are we going to hide the 2-year-old toddler poo stains? They were probably just thinking like, yeah, this is kind of funky. It's the 70s. So we're benefiting from their lack of good taste.
So I have an announcement to make. We've been downgraded from the 9th best podcast about California, but is it really a downgrade when you go from 9 to 69?
Never. I think it's more of like a flip, a reversal even. And these things are sort of a crapshoot anyway. So I'm just proud to be nominated, really. There are so many podcasts and shows out there nowadays. To be in the top 100 of anything is an accomplishment. And yeah, we'll get back in that top 10 soon enough. I've had a feeling that was a bit of an outlier, but you can help, listener, viewer. Get out there, hype us up, be our ambassadors, get us some more viewers and some more listeners, and hopefully that will bump us up the food chain. But we do focus hyper local, so I mean, it is about California podcasts. So perhaps they decided to now slant their rankings on the bias towards the statewide podcast, right? Like that's what I kind of noticed, and the local ones were a little more ushered into our realm. I forget what we were before and after. Or the before and after us is pretty fun, like the 68 and 70th position. I forget what I'd have to follow the link, but I forget what they were. But it was pretty interesting.
We should go to war with those podcasts. Well, they're already at war with us because I think they're both pissed off at us for being number 69.
Can we drop some goats on their asses? I mean, I almost don't want to move from 69. Like, I kind of like that. It's got some great, just great connotation. And it allows us to say 69, dude, a la Bill and Ted, just anytime we want. For those of you out there who were not born in the 20th century, Bill and Ted were these dudes in a movie. They did do a reboot recently, but you probably did not see it. No one really saw it because it didn't make any money. But anyway, 69 dudes is a very popular line from that film. You'll have to see it to understand the context. It would take a whole nother podcast to explain the context of that one joke.
Very cool. And just a reminder, we have a new podcast. It is Used to Be a Spy. The most recent one just came out over the weekend. And we're recording another one maybe Monday. I don't know. The schedules are all up in the air. I haven't even scheduled anybody. I know the Media Wench is going to be on it, but anyway, it's really good. And if you want to hear what it sounds like when I actually fucking edit something, you can go check that out.
Nice.
Otherwise, like if you're listening to Downballot and you don't know about anything about us, do make sure to check us out live sometime. It's twitch.tv/Echoplex Media. And as always, simulcasting to other places that really, really do not matter, like at all. And
like MySpace.
That's the Twitch terms of service, I think, makes me say that. I don't fucking know. So what do we have for leading off in the news tonight?
Well, it's, kind of a international, global, interwebs story, but it's local. So folks might be familiar with Sam Altman. He's the CEO of OpenAI. I believe he was in Trump's, transition team. So wonderful tech bro that he is. So there some protesters apparently got wind of where he lived and decided to hold a protest at his San Francisco abode. Not sure if he was home, but we'll find out more in this clip from ABC 7 News.
They try to stop us, but we keep coming back.
A protest in San Francisco Sunday targeting billionaire CEO and AI entrepreneur Sam.
How did this make the news? There's like fucking 10 people there.
Cut back! We say fight back!
The group is taking aim at Altman for his support of President Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill, which slashes safety net programs like Medicaid and food assistance.
My friends, my family, the people who are most deserving are going to be basically reverse Robin Hooded by these billionaires. And we can't be lining their pockets while we're cutting
Damn, fucking critical support to whoever did a fucking sideshow in front of Sam Altman's house. Look at the intersection.
Seriously.
Critical fucking support.
Great visual to right at the bottom of Lombard.
The federal budget was signed into law Friday and includes $4.5 trillion in tax cuts. It also initially included a 10-year moratorium on states being able to regulate AI, but that provision was stripped by the Senate.
People making out like bandits with this bill are going to be the billionaires. So they're getting the largest tax cut because of this bill, and we are going to be the ones that are suffering.
The group going so far as to ring Altman's doorbell. And with no answer, leaving this message.
Sam, I don't know if you're here or if you're listening, but I'm a tech worker. I live in your neighborhood, and I have a problem with what you're doing in this world. Burning all these fossil fuels to power your AI systems that are going to do God knows what. We came to your house today to let you know that we're not going to let you just burn our planet down. Our futures are at stake.
Tara Campbell, ABC 7 News.
That was a fucking whack-ass protest.
Yeah, 10, maybe 12. I counted a
There are a dozen.
It was hard to count. There are a dozen. There are a dozen of us, Dave. Yeah, I'm all for First Amendment. I'm all for protest. I'm all for protesting in AI and things that that do threaten the well-being of some of those vulnerable folks out there and threaten to disrupt our economy in ways we haven't even begun to think about yet. However, I don't know how I feel, even in a case like this, where it's not like Sam Altman is, a saint or anything like that. But does Sam Altman deserve to have people come into his house and standing outside his front door and doing this, right? As opposed to at like OpenAI HQ or in some other public setting that's not his home. I don't know. I was a little squished.
Right. It's not like we don't think, like, I don't think people should be arrested for this, but I also think like maybe at his company.
Yeah, like I would just question the organizers, right? Like I'm not surprised, especially in San Francisco, that they weren't.
You saw all of the organizers. Everybody there was the organizer.
Organizer, yeah. So I question the organizer, and I think tactics are very important. Optics are very important, and I don't think it does your cause much good. I mean, it may not hurt, but it certainly doesn't do your cause any good to invade someone's personal space like that. I don't think it helped during the BLM and the George Floyd protests when folks took the protest to Sam Liccardo's house, right? I've known where Sam lives for many years, but I would never go to his house to protest something that's about, the general public, right, in the public space and realm. I would go to City Hall, right, or I'd see him at a public event and address him there. But you just, I don't like that. I really don't like that. You don't know. We don't have a right necessarily to invade that space, no matter what our beef is. But well,
I think you do have a right to do it. I just think you just it's just as like assholey. Like it's like different. I don't know. I guess it just all depends on the scenario here. Like this is no big deal. There was only like 10 fucking people there, and the guy who left him a message was fucking annoying.
Yeah,
that's my main problem here.
Yeah, legal right. Yeah, absolutely. And be you, right? You dozen be you, and dude be you. Yeah, but just uncouth, not really keeping in good moral ethical standards. That behooves your movement to take the higher ground and to be cognizant of these tactics. It really does behoove your movement. Yeah, exactly. The day may come when we have to take up arms or something against these fuckers.
When the solutions become more intense,
right? And we will be ready. Trust me, Downballot listener and viewer, this podcast and this network will be ready for that, and we will alert you to the need at that time. At this point, I would say let's back off that stupid bit. Let's find a OpenAI HQ, and I'll meet you there, and I'll bring a sign. I'll bring my own signs. I'll bring my own dozen people, and we can double
Your
our
sign will
ranks.
even be spelled correctly.
It might just be.
Or you
I'll
could
spell
have
Santa
AI
correctly.
make your sign, and that'd be very funny.
Hopefully they didn't misspell AI. Oh yeah, ChatGPT, make me a sign to protest you. I don't know if I can do that, Dave. I'm feeling very strange. Daisy. Anyway, so leading off, stick to the public realm with your public comment. I'll just leave it at that.
So we're going to move on to winners and losers, where there are no
yes.
winners unless maybe you were rooting for somebody. Though last week we did have a winner.
Of a rarity indeed. And summertime is the time for winners, really. So occasionally we have a slow news week in local politics, and you will end up with some winners. But I don't know that we have any this week, but shit happens. So so we can just dive right into it if you like. And what I have here is actually leading off with a story that again is more national focus, but with a local angle. As folks might recall, we've had been covering the ongoing story of a San Jose State volleyball player, trans volleyball player, who was basically being singled out and persecuted and outed by her own teammates. And he even had this teammate and was subject to a lawsuit. The state of California was the subject of a lawsuit from the Trump administration, or at least a directive from the Trump administration to cease and desist, and allowing any trans athletes to compete in women's sports or girls' sports. And the state of California has responded. And we're going to find out how they responded in this story, also from ABC7.
California is defying the Trump administration when it comes to transgender athletes in sports. The state says it will not ban trans athletes or award wins to other competitors. As ABC 7 News reporter Tim Johns explains, it's setting up another likely legal battle with the White House.
Both the California Department of Education and the California Interscholastic Federation formally denying the Trump administration's demand in a series of letters sent Monday. Back in June, the White House threatened action against the state if California didn't ban transgender athletes from participating in girls' sports. President Trump has repeatedly threatened to pull federal funding over the issue.
These are funds that we need, and so again, why not go along with what is federal law and ensure that we're, ensuring that women have equal opportunities in sport.
Assemblymember James Gallagher is the Republican leader in the state assembly. He says the decision to not ban trans athletes is a violation of Title IX and a reckless gamble by California leaders that will now likely end up in court.
This tendency to, rather than try to work with, the administration to, file lawsuits. And, at the end of the day, a lot of money gets spent and, to what avail?
While Gallagher believes state leaders are making a mistake refusing to comply with the Trump administration and therefore putting millions of dollars at risk, others have applauded the move, saying it's a way to defend the rights of transgender Californians. That includes Jorge Reyes Salinas of Equality California, who says the Trump administration has specifically targeted trans people.
We know that healthcare is being cut, gender-affirming care, transgender healthcare. We know that suicide hotline is being cut.
Reyes Salinas says California has laws designed to protect the rights of transgender people. He believes the administration's threats to withhold funding are a distraction from the other issues facing Americans every day.
This is political theater that, again, as we talked about earlier, it's a very small percentage. It's a very small number of students who are transgender and want to participate in school sports.
In a post on social media Monday night, the Secretary of Education said Governor Newsom would be hearing from the country's Attorney General. In San Francisco, Tim Johns, ABC 7 News.
I feel like I always have to say the same thing here. One, if it's like high school sports, the stakes are pretty low. And when you get higher up in the layer cake, these sports organizations, be they governmental or non-governmental, have sanctioning bodies, and those sanctioning bodies, I don't know, they can fucking make their rules for their fucking sports, and I don't know, I'm not too fussed about this. I don't like the discrimination and the fact that, some 16-year-old trans woman or whatever at a high school who wants to run track or whatever is now the basically the subject of this horrible national conversation. That's not great. But like we always say, when this stuff happens, who loses out? The students. Always the students.
Every single time. I do want to applaud, though, the Trump administration and Republicans and in general for standing up for women's rights. I'm so proud to see that after all these years, they have recognized the need for equality, and they're standing up for women. So thank you so much for defending the rights of women, Republicans, and and while you're invading their uteruses, you're standing up for their rights to play sport on a whatever.
For you to play women's sports, we need to be able to take away your right to an abortion. That is the standard by which we decide that you get to play women's sports.
Right. We need to ensure that you have a uterus and that we can control it, and therefore you can play. Congratulations. So yeah, fuck you guys completely. I'm 100% with you. Let the kids play the way they want to play. And as we saw from a clip from the recent California State Track and Field Championships, where a trans athlete not only competed but was successful in an event, her own competitors, the people who finished behind her on the podium, or behind them on the podium, said outright, I don't know what the big deal is. This is not a big deal. Let them compete. Right. So if the students say it's all good, if the students want to compete in as whatever sex they want to compete, go for it, and we'll figure it out. And kudos to California, kudos to CIF, the California sorry, I'm forgetting the word, but the governing body, as you said, for sport in California, high school sport in California. San Jose State for holding firm, and other bodies for standing firm against this bullshit. Because what are they going to do? Honestly, what are they going to? They're going to come for these students. They're going to come for these student athletes and like detain them and throw them in this same undocumented folks and undocumented folks as well. We shall see.
Maybe they'll feed them to the alligators.
Go to California. Yes, and some member Gallagher, like go home, like just go home. You have no power at all. you are a super minority at this point. So don't even know why we bother talking to them at this point. They have no power.
All right, we got another story.
Anyway.
This is about the ongoing struggle about this is now no longer the Great Highway. Oh wait, no. This is
it's
hold on. The residents celebrated 4th of July, but not everybody did it in the sunset.
Correct. Yeah. So this is a triumvirate of stories about the Sunset Dunes and what's happening there now. So and from different angles. So this is more of like a winners in terms of like, hey, it's a holiday, and losers in terms of there's people like out there grumpy about people having fun on a holiday. Anyway. Let's hear more about it. It's ABC7. They're just on a roll right now.
Several events were held throughout the day to celebrate Independence Day. Of course, the Glen Park neighborhood held its community-based 4th of July parade. San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie gave some remarks for the block party. Senator Scott Wiener was there too, saying he's been in attendance for over 15 years now. And that event was one of several leading up to San Francisco's fireworks display, which is set for tonight.
That's right. Let's go out to ABC7 News reporter Tim Johns live along the Embarcadero with how people plan to celebrate. They're starting now. Tim?
Yeah, Kristen, Julian, crowds are starting to descend here on the city's waterfront ahead of that fireworks show tonight. Throughout the day, we talked to many people who are excited to celebrate the 4th of July this year, although with all of that excitement also comes some worries too.
Happy 4th. This is all about joy. We are fulfilling the promise of our nation, which has not been fulfilled, but we are here to ensure that it is.
Hundreds of people descending on Sunset Dunes Park in San Francisco Friday for its second annual 4th of July parade.
Happy 4th of July!
From the city's LGBTQ marching band to immigrant communities, all were ready to show off their red, white, and blue.
We were bringing together the whole diversity of San Francisco to fulfill the promise of America.
Along the parade route, we met Elizabeth Yan as well as two of her best friends. Originally from China, Yan tells us she couldn't wait to get dressed up for the holiday.
I wasn't born as American, but I chose to be.
For all the excitement.
Don't go on TV and tell people that.
There was also some hesitation.
I am both proud and deeply concerned. We got to do better.
Just outside the park, we ran into Christina Westover. Westover says while she too is proud to be American, she has deep worries over the current state of the country. She tells us she thinks many of the actions taken by the Trump administration in recent months are profoundly un-American.
I am so disappointed with everything that is happening. I felt absolutely sick hearing about the big, beautiful bill.
Despite the issues many may have with certain elements of the country, though, for Yan, there's nowhere else she'd rather be. Thankful for the opportunities and freedom she says she wasn't granted in her home country.
I think a lot of people here actually don't really know what freedom actually means. You understand it when you have it, and you understand it more when you gain it.
And for anyone who wants to see the fireworks show tonight, it is scheduled to start at 9:30. I'm live in San Francisco. Tim Johns, ABC 7 News.
Okay. Oh, those silly people having to go somewhere to see a fireworks display. You know where I went?
Out your front door?
That's correct.
In the street.
Yeah, and it's not like I live over on the wharf or anything.
No, of course not. I'm very disappointed. Just first off, the loser here is ABC 7 News and Tim Johns, who did not find a way to create a pun around Scott Wiener eating a bunch of wieners at a 4th of July party. That's 15 years of wieners he's consumed. So just FYI. Leave it to some folks to find a way to turn a celebration into a way to pontificate about their gripes. But good on Supervisor Ingardino for standing out and getting himself some free publicity and get himself on the news. That will certainly help his chances at defeating the recall effort that's coming his way. But no one misses an opportunity, it seems like, to have their thing, right? To make it all about them, as opposed to about America or the community or whatever, right? But yeah, unfortunately, fireworks displays were fewer and far between. We'll find out a little bit more about that later. But certainly those are the legal fireworks. Some of the illegal fireworks are happening just about everywhere. And there's also fireworks in a political sense going off here, in addition to the physical fireworks. So we'll be following that.
So our next
right
story,
here.
we're going to stay over at Sunset Dunes, and I have a feeling I'm going to have some fucking thoughts about this. I just know based on what the title of this is. What is this about? Yeah,
the title says it all. Residents concerned, right? And the S at the end of residents is really specious. It maybe should be parentheses. S. Anyway, we'll hear more from KPIX about what their concerns are about the park. Might surprise you.
Some people who live near the new park say they don't feel safe using the walkways. This after a woman was injured by a cyclist while she was walking. Amanda Harry spoke to people who live in the area and one who witnessed the aftermath of the accident.
There she is on the ground.
Stephen Gorski says he was concerned when he heard the commotion Tuesday morning outside his home.
What happened to us, I heard a bunch of sirens. I said, God, that sounds like it's close.
He walked out and took these photos to document.
He walked out with the world's oldest digital camera.
A woman who was walking on the highway turned park, Sunset Dunes, was struck by a bicyclist. Gorski says the woman's husband was emotional and frightened, but police expect her to make a full recovery. The situation...
Wait, the police? Don't you mean like her doctor? The hospital?
I guess it depends on who you ask. I'm sure the police consulted with the hospital and the doctor. And I'm also, it's good to know that her husband was so concerned that he probably did come on camera to her, at least, or to give them an update, right? According to her husband, she will make a full recovery. So obviously they have it's a real pressing concern for them.
Gorski's growing concern about safety in the area since voters supported shutting down the Great Highway to cars in favor of more outdoor space.
It's chaos out there, and there's no rules or regulations.
Patricia Arak lives across the street from the but she doesn't feel safe using it.
I would never go up there. I'm disabled. I would be a sitting duck, and it's too dangerous.
What?
It used to be a road with cars.
Parks and Rec added a lane system to try and make things safer. You can see a snail and the word slow indicating an area for walkers. Alternatively, there's also a shared lane with a snail and a duck on a skateboard indicating faster movement. But she says cyclists aren't abiding by it.
The bike riders are riding on all 4 lanes every day of the week, and it's created
they smell bad.
A dangerous situation, particularly for disabled and elderly people.
She's also a coach
chaos.
of the Mayor's Disability Council. She says she confronted Parks and Rec about the area, telling them it's dangerous back at a meeting on May 16th, and asked them to do something about it.
It's simple. Make it safe for people. Put up signage. Enforce the rule.
Supervisor for the area, Joel Engardio, says for the most part, he's received positive feedback about the new park, but agrees that more can be done to make lanes clearer and keep people safer.
Well, I've called on Rec and Park to address this issue because it's really important that we make people aware of where the bikes should be, where people should be. I mean, it's a shared space. Like it's a park. It's not a thoroughfare. It's not for fast bike racing or anything by those means. It's a shared space for people to enjoy and stroll.
And he has a message for cyclists or anyone moving quickly in the meantime.
Be aware that there are seniors, there are children, that all types of people are enjoying the space, so let's be respectful.
But for now, Gorski still feels trapped in his home because of the risks.
Can't do anything. You're stuck.
There's other things to do, but wait, trapped in your home, just don't go to the park. Were you not going to go anywhere now?
But also, is this a going concern, right? Like, where's the data that says that this is just not an isolated incident where someone was looking the wrong way and a cyclist ran right into it? It happens with cars. If a car had hit this person, I'm pretty sure she would be in a lot worse shape than she is now. So, it's unfortunate, but it doesn't sound like chaos. Doesn't sound like a going concern. Doesn't sound like something that merits rising to this kind of level. But that's what you get from the local news. And it's what you get from, NIMBYs who are, they'll take anything they can. They'll latch onto any incident, and suddenly it's the great deluge. And it's challenging to me to understand the mentality, right? But it's so common, right? It's not surprising. It's really hard for me to be empathetic.
Americans hate cyclists, dude. They just hate. They hate it. They hate the idea. Do you remember, like in San Jose, when they made a rule, you got to give somebody 3 feet for their bike? Remember that? Fucking people were like yelling at me when I was riding my bike down the side of the side of the road. They're like, it get a little close to me, like, here's your 3 feet. I got caught up to one of them at a stop sign. I was like, get out of your car. Reinforcing the idea that cyclists are violent and horrible people.
This is it's just incredibly ironic that we're having this conversation, even, right, about a cyclist pedestrian incident when countless auto versus pedestrian, auto versus cyclist incidents occur, every day. And this one isolated incident because a couple, some of our more vintage folks out in the community complained about it to the news, right? Or to their supervisor. And the fact that Joel has to freaking respond to this when he's in the middle, only because he's in the middle of a recall effort, does he even have to respond to this? Because it's exactly what it's about. I guarantee you, these folks were propped up in some way or emboldened in some way by the folks that are just trying to oust this dude, and it's just another way to get on the news and to talk smack about him. So he had the nice positive hit in the last piece, but in this piece he gets called out, and unfairly so, but also commits an unforced error by even responding in the first place and going on camera. Like, let these people talk, let them talk, and don't even go on, don't bother to do the Zoom interview, don't go on camera. You're right, you're on the right side, but don't let them draw you. That's my only political advice. Don't let them draw you into this, right? I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are on this, producer Dave. You would be a much better consultant than I ever was, but you've always had very good political instincts.
If they ask, you go, that's it's really unfortunate. I hope people are being safe out in the park, but I don't know. I don't want to go. I'm not interested in doing a news hit about this. Right.
Yeah. Right.
We reached out to the supervisor, and he doesn't care.
Right. That's what it would be. Or he didn't respond.
My
right?
take here is I want to go out to that park and get a speeding ticket. This is what I want to do. I want to go out there. I want to
on your bike.
Oh yeah, it's pretty flat. I get going pretty fucking fast out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. At the end of the day, they did the nice lady who's on the Mayor Ed 210's disability caucus or whatever did make a fine point, somewhere in there, in that enforcement is the name of the game, right? So her friend is completely out of his gourd if he thinks there's no regulation, there are no rules. There are bike lanes, there are rules. It's very, there's paint on the ground, right? There are lines in the ground, lines in the sand, literally, and figuratively. So yes, there are regulations. It's enforcement that's not happening, and frankly, that's because it's not a top priority. Who has the time? It's San Francisco. There's other shit to do than to.
I'm sorry, I thought you wanted me to clean up the shit in the Tenderloin.
Right. Your Tony Sunset neighborhood is not our priority right now, because, yeah, exactly. Because you've told us loud and clear, right? So, to me, it's just the world's tiniest violin. And
I feel bad for the person that got hit, but
yeah, of course.
I don't know, you live in San Jose. I used to live in San Jose. We have all them creek trails where there's no designated anything, and pedestrians and cyclists share that space. And not for nothing. I mean, fucking, when I was commuting to work, dude, I would haul ass down that fucking trail, dude. And I don't know, fucking, I bet this person wasn't even going, I think they just weren't paying attention. And they were like, fucking.
It just happened. It's an accident in the purest form. It's difficult for a pedestrian to get waylaid by a bike unless a cyclist, unless one of them or both are not paying attention. And it doesn't really matter who, right? It's unfortunate, but it's not, again, this is not something that's happening constantly. It's not chaos. It's, it doesn't equate to chaos. One incident does not, no matter how many people talk about the same incident on Nextdoor, it's still one incident. So we all need to take a step back.
Dude that was afraid to leave his house because somebody got into a collision with a cyclist while they were on. Drama fucking queen, dude. Drama
you're
queen.
You're gonna be a shut in for the rest of your life because it's pictures you have to hold up and tilt your little mini laptop to show off the pictures that you got with the world's crappiest digital camera. You went out. That's the thing. You saw this happen.
Young
you went out to get those
with
pictures.
Their high resolution cameras and their fast bicycles.
Damn, get off my lawn with your bicycle. But you went outside to get these pictures, right? So you weren't that afraid when it was actually in the moment, right? Shit was happening
in the park. I'm gonna go out there on my bike and just follow his ass around and be like, "Hey, I thought you were staying in your house. Go home, asshole."
I'm coming for you, my pretty.
Careful, anyway. I might run you over. No, it sucks. Especially if it's an older person, we don't know the extent of her injury. She's gonna be fine, but it sucks. But in a park, this is complaining about a kid falling down and breaking their finger because they were playing on the fucking jungle gym, right? It's the functional equivalent of that. It's this is a park. People are riding bikes and probably playing fucking ultimate frisbee or whatever it is, and somebody's gonna smash into somebody. It's a park.
Yeah, we got into this when I served in the public art committee here in San Jose as part of the Arts Commission. We got into those discussions a lot when it came to approving the design or the concept for different public art projects, right? And especially if it was a sculpture or some sort of, thing.
Right, there are a lot of sharp edges.
Right, or it's something you can conceivably climb upon, right? Or a kid could climb up on and conceivably fall off of, right? And despite the fact that the city has all sorts of, insurance and liabilities, and it's really on the parents and on the kid.
You just don't want people getting hurt. It's not. You're not worried about the liability. You don't want somebody getting hurt.
Oh no, but they were, and
people can hold two ideas in their mind.
Correct.
Well, some people can.
Correct. It's just that we had a great deal of conversation and consternation about approving things that were really about personal responsibility at the end of the day. And I can say that now even more so as a toddler parent. If my toddler, if a bad baby climbs up on some public art and decides to do that and then falls and hurts themselves, it's on me. It really is. It completely is on me. It's not on the artist. It's not on the city. It's no. it's completely on my kid and me to figure that shit out. So in the same realm here, like it's really on this community to figure their shit out. If this guy is worried about the chaos caused by like one bicyclist on pedestrian incident, what would he think about this high rise that's coming to his neighborhood?
Oh yeah, this is great. Plans for high rise in the Sunset.
Segue.
Ooh, man, there's a significant delay. We're looking here. There's plans for a high rise in the Sunset in San Francisco, and I bet people are fucking pissed about it more generally. But also, I guess one of the developers filed for bankruptcy.
You might remember this story we brought you back in February. People in San Francisco's Sunset were worried their beachy vibes were under threat from a proposed...
Well, they're not replacing the beach with a building.
22-story high-rise. Developers said it would provide much-needed housing with more than 200 units set aside for affordable senior housing. But some people told us they were not ready to trade in the beloved characteristics of their neighborhood for one they claimed would make things feel like South Beach.
It's why people moved out here.
Old people.
They love the neighborhood. Changing it with a super high skyrise, making it downtown or Miami, is not going to make what people love and adore about our neighborhood.
The proposed skyrise was actually the second plan for the site on 2700 Sloat Boulevard. But now the controversial development is on hold after the company behind it filed for bankruptcy. Our Suji Nam spoke with people on both sides of the debate and why they say the fight is not over.
We don't need to rip down single-family homes to put in more housing. We don't have an affordable housing crisis. We have a housing crisis that's affordable.
Renee Lazier, the
What do you think Homegirl's net worth is?
With that scarf or without it?
I mean, I'm just saying, like, she's like, we don't have an affordable housing crisis. I bet Homegirl, whether maybe Homegirl and her partner or whatever, their combined net worth is like $5 or $6 million, right? So then if that's your net worth, there's no affordable housing crisis for you. You just go buy a place.
Right. I don't understand what she's getting at, though, that there's no affordable housing crisis. There's a housing crisis that's affordable. I don't understand where I don't understand what the angle she's taking, but yeah, I don't get a sense that she's struggling to afford housing. She's talking about preserving the single family homes and the character of the neighborhood. So she obviously, has a very specific vision of what her neighborhood is and what the Sunset is and why she
as they stand in front of what is clearly an apartment complex.
Correct. Right. Across from like a playground maybe or a school. I don't know. Anyway,
construction.
Let's hear her out. Let's see, maybe she's got something relevant.
You know what I think of when I think of San Francisco is single family homes.
Yes, of course. Absolutely. All the time, all day, single family row houses with fourplexes.
Just like
duplexes.
Fremont or South San Jose. That's the character of San Francisco.
Yeah, totally, bro. Willow Glen to the max.
Founder of Save Our Neighborhoods San Francisco, is passionate about keeping the culture and history of the Sunset District alive. When she learned the developer of a proposed 22-story high-rise condo along 2700 Sloat Boulevard filed for bankruptcy, she was somewhat relieved.
It's postponed right now, but they're still working on trying to find somebody to sell it to so they can build other things.
A previous proposal was to build a 50-floor skyrise.
Fuck yeah, dude, that's so cool. Why you gotta be mad at that? That is so cool. You're rich, get a place on the top floor so you can see Hawaii.
Well, this is one aspect I just love about urban planning and land use development. When the NIMBYs step up and say, no, not a 50-story high rise, God forbid. And then the next thing is like, here's a 27-story like hanging gardens senior housing development next year. That you're not going to live in, like affordable housing development, right? That not a fancy, market rate high rise that's only going to attract a certain clientele that you're probably not going to be all that upset with in your Tony neighborhood. It's just you have to deal with one big tower, big deal, right? Yeah, like you said, get one of the penthouses, lock it up. But you get something killed, an idea killed, and something else always pops up. Someone's always going to be trying to make money and to make ends meet and to make things pencil out. So you can object all you want to any given property, but what's next might not be the best thing on your radar, on your playlist either.
Currently, the Slope Garden Center. That was quickly rejected by the city. The most recent plan, had it been approved, would have built nearly 450 units with affordable senior housing. But Lazier says that is not a sustainable option.
Building 3 stories and putting maybe 20 units in there, that would be for affordable housing, truly affordable housing, not luxury condos.
Jane Natoli, the San Francisco organizer.
She's like, also, if you're going to make it affordable, it has to suck.
Right. But we can't have anything nice that's affordable because if you're poor, you deserve to live in poor conditions.
Of YIMBY Action is disappointed the Sunset Tower proposal was rejected.
We're just going back and forth. At this point, we've had approximately 5 different proposals for that site over the course of about a decade, and nothing's happened.
San Francisco leaders are working on updating rezoning laws that could allow for taller structures to be built in areas where it historically wasn't allowed. The city also has a goal to add more than 82,000 housing units by 2031.
It should be easier to build more homes throughout San Francisco. We've historically developed them on the east side. And we previously did a rezoning plan to make that easier 20 plus years ago. And when we're going about the rezoning right now, it's really about trying to help shift that.
While Natoli is pushing for more housing citywide, including in neighborhoods like the Sunset District, where there are more single-family homes, Lazier says that is not the best path forward.
It's not because we don't want change and we don't relish change. This side has seen so much change since they started building out here in the late 1800s.
This place has changed a lot since the late 1800s. No shit, lady.
It all started then, Producer Dave. No, that's really when the encroachment upon their single-family home, peaceful existence began.
And District 4 Supervisor Joel Engardio for comment. We have not heard back yet. We also reached out to the developer's attorney for comment, and we are also awaiting that response.
Good on Joel for not. Yeah, glad Joel didn't respond on this one. I wish he hadn't responded on the last one, but at least he learned his lesson. Maybe. This is dumb. And the YIMBY Action representative brought up is exactly what I'm talking about, right? There have been 5 different proposals on this property in the past, 10 years. And more than likely, they were all fairly, dense or, not single family homes, I'm guessing, for townhomes or anything like that, or anything that would appeal to Scarf Lady here. And so you keep poo-pooing stuff, you keep knocking stuff down, you get stuff canceled. I mean, in this case, it's bankruptcy for the developers. That sucks. But financing is always going to be a problem. But the more projects you shoot down, and eventually nothing happens, right? And you end up with a vacant lot. And is that better for your neighbors than something else, right? What are you holding out for, and how do you expect to visualize what you're holding out for if you don't own the property or own the land or have any money to do the development, right? Like at least someone's proposing to do something that's going to house someone. And instead, you're going to keep anything from happening on this site, and that's the real tragedy. So
they only want 3 stories. So let's see what they think of my my 3-story combination nightclub, cannabis club, and brothel.
Correct. Right. Exactly. The devil, right? And so let's propose that, Producer Dave. I'd say let's try and buy this property. The owners are probably tired of it. We can probably get it for a song, and we'll propose that. We will propose our own commercial retail venture with maybe like 1 floor of housing on the top for really, really old, poor people. Maybe that's the other thing I just laugh at. This lady who is on the verge of getting to that point where she's going to need to be cared for, right? And need some more supervision, shall we say. And these are spaces that are going to be affordable for seniors and for more vintage population. Probably her relatives or her parents are in that bracket if they're still with us, right? And yet just no vision, no care, and it's just like Palo Alto. They had, a couple of years ago doing a referendum and overturning the approval of a senior housing development, right? Why? Because it's too tall, or it's going to add traffic from old people. Right?
Well, that might be dangerous.
So silly. So, that's true. They might get run over by bikes. They're going to get run over by all the bikes that are running rampant and chaotic through the Sunset Dunes Park. So maybe
the problem
she's
with
just,
that is the bikes would be outrunning the cars, right?
Right. Well, I think apparently maybe we're reading this all wrong. Maybe Scarf Lady is advocating for those seniors because she doesn't want to see too many seniors put into danger and not being able to leave their homes. Right.
You know how high up it
homes.
Is? They could fall.
Right. They'll be trapped up there. They'll never be able to leave because what would happen? What could so many things could befall them if they left their houses. So they'll just be trapped in these apartments. I understand. I get it now. I get it. I'm totally with them now. This is a bad idea.
So this is the same shit that happens in San Jose, and it's interesting too that they're like, oh, if you want to do this, do it on the east side, and it's almost like the same that shit. You could have just stuck her right where I used to live. In Campbell,
yeah, 100%.
But what's ironic about that is Campbell did build tall, but you could stick her over maybe in your neighborhood over in Willow Glen and be like, I don't know, you want to build this big thing, put it on the east side. Right?
Completely, and it happened just recently in a neighborhood here. Although the project there was, to be honest, a little bit out of place. But that's being said, same situation happened here, and something I forget where I read or saw at some point, but someone pointed out very astutely that the east side is always where it seems to be in just about every major American city. The east side is where our poor people of color, immigrant communities
on the West Coast. If it's by the water, because the water is going to tend to be on the west, and the people are going to want to live nearer the water. On the East Coast, a lot of times, like the east side is
in our city, in our area in South Bay here, it's more of the adjacency to Silicon Valley and the affluence, I think. So the west side,
the mountains to some extent. It's nice being up against the Santa Cruz Mountains,
and historical too. It's also just absolutely historical and based on systemic, redlining and other land use issues, right, and development issues and property ownership issues, and where freeways were chosen to be built and that kind of thing. Like, there's so many factors that go into play. But yeah, absolutely true. The folks on the west side generally doing better than the folks on the east side, and they have more power, political power, so they can stop projects like this, right? They can keep their neighborhoods Tony. So even in San Francisco, you see the same arguments playing out that you see in San Jose and other suburban, quote unquote, communities, and less urban communities, because NIMBYs are NIMBYs and YIMBYs are YIMBYs, and the issues we're facing are systemic. So you're going to see the same problems in everywhere, and so it's not surprising to see it in San Francisco, although it may not necessarily be front of mind or something you would think of San Francisco in this light.
Man, I don't want to, if I lived in the city, I don't want to live out there. You're in the middle of fucking nowhere. Like, I mean, you're in the city, but there's nothing there, man. I'd put me over in what they're calling the east side. Put me over in the Mission or like fucking just south of Market or whatever. Like, my God.
They got the zoo and that windmill in the park, and now they got Sunset Dunes. So there's things to do now. And you can get run over by a bicyclist.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to move across the bay over into more my neck of the woods. This is Berkeley, and apparently they're going to clear a homeless encampment. Here is some information from KPIX5 about that.
People living at Berkeley's Ohlone Park are on borrowed time. The city told everybody last week that they had to be out by last Thursday. But as of this evening, there were still plenty of people out there. Plan now is to move everybody out by tomorrow morning. Kara St. Cyr has that story.
Getting my stuff together.
Dish has 12 hours to pack his entire life into 3 trash bags.
Because we have to leave this place, so we have to go to another and hopefully be safe.
A city sweep is forcing him and everyone else living at Ohlone Park out by Monday morning.
Where are you planning to go? Do you know?
No, not necessarily. I just knew away from here.
Dish says the city is expected to come as early as 6 a.m. to sweep the entire park. Anything left out will be thrown away. Nicholas Alexander, a nearby resident and member of the group Save Ohlone Park, says the encampment has been a source of frustration for months.
So human stabbing in here. I found a needle on the ground that actually still had some material left in it.
Did you get high off it?
Fights. There's been open drug use. We've had someone come into the dog park, literally smoke meth in front of us, and then have a psychosis and follow us back and forth. I mean, it's endless.
His only concern now is whether the city will uphold the sweeps.
I don't think the mayor believes in sweeps. I think she really wants to find a humane alternative. But the fiscal reality of our city is we don't have the resources to do what she wants.
Ohlone Park was originally set to be swept in April, but a legal battle between homeless advocates and the city delayed the process. A judge ruling put the sweep back on the schedule for July 3rd. Dish says people here were given extra days as a courtesy. But Roger, another nearby resident, says the sweeps won't solve anything.
I think the weakness is they have nowhere to go. But this is a structural problem, meaning there isn't enough housing. So it's going to keep on going until enough housing.
A problem Dish and others here are still trying to solve.
If I had like a more secure place, it'd be better, but...
After hours of moving boxes and bags, Dish packed up his belongings, still unsure of the future.
I like you saw like old Berkeley versus new Berkeley. Old Berkeley was like, I mean, they're going to do this, but it doesn't solve anything. And then new Berkeley's like, excuse me, I moved into a very nice apartment that's been remodeled and I don't like seeing this stuff in my neighborhood. And the old guy was like, man, I got sprayed with a fucking water cannon in this park 40 years ago. You know,
right? Bang, right? And we haven't solved the same problems we've been dealing with since then. And this is the result. And yeah, it sucks. And it sucks to have to see. It sucks to have to, be present in this moment.
I mean,
but
think of the guy's dog ass.
We brought it on ourselves. Yeah, we brought it on ourselves. But again, this just goes to the point of you see the same issues playing out and the same factions playing out just about everywhere these days, especially in California, especially in the Bay Area, where the cost of living and the cost of housing is so high. And we're going to find out more about what's happening on that front here in the South Bay, and what it actually takes to, as NBC Bay Area puts it, make it in the Bay. We'll find out more in this next story here.
In tonight's Making It in the Bay report, a stark new analysis of just how much more money most of us would need to make to buy a home here. Here's our business and tech reporter, Scott Bubman.
Well, for years, those who have been able to buy a home here in Silicon Valley have done so by cashing in tech stock options. That's still the case now, as rising home prices have made it increasingly difficult to make it in the Bay.
We'll start with the good news, which is that we're seeing more homes on the market. In theory, that should lower housing prices. But
we need more homes on the market.
Tammy Peters, president of the Silicon Valley Association of Realtors, says tech wealth is still tilting the scale when it comes to who can afford to buy here.
We require proof of funds, when we're looking at offers, and I see the stock options, and that's good amount of money there.
In fact, a new Zillow study shows that on top of the already high average salaries here, a San Jose resident would need a raise of $250,000 to afford a median home. The average San Franciscans need more than $160,000, and experts say other hurdles mean that number isn't likely to drop anytime soon.
It's very, very hard to build there because of the geography and also some restrictions, right? And that's the only way you can get to better affordability.
Putting home ownership for many, even those making good salaries, out of reach. In San Jose, Scott.
They never ever tell you about these corporations coming in and buying up all the single family homes. They never ever fucking say goddamn shit about that. When HK, the co-host of the now dead podcast, The Intellectual Dollar Tree, lived in Sunnyvale, he met a bunch of his neighbors and none of them owned their house. Every one of them was fucking running.
Yeah, I know it's a speculative market, both for people, investment properties, but also for corporations and investment companies just sitting on properties, like buying them up at low cost, right? When the market is depressed as it was some years ago, right, during the recession and then during COVID. So they take the opportunity, right, of people cashing out, and they buy up these properties and they sit on them because they don't have to pay inordinate amounts of property taxes. Or they've been doing it for a while, right, and they can wait for a better market, a better deal, right, and just wait for the appreciation.
Or just rent that
to
shit
take
out
hold.
forever.
And rent it out in the meantime, right? Exactly. But even then, there are so many vacant properties that we haven't even begun to quantify that are that would be available out there, but are just sitting vacant, and they're not counted in the vacancy rate because they're not on the market, right? Like they're not marketed as rental properties or as sale properties. They're just there. They're just like any other single family home or property that's owned by the resident. So they're not counted against the vacancy rate. So we don't really see that number out there. So when we hear about low vacancy rates, it's true of the properties that are actually on the market. There's an estimation that there's something like 15,000 unused and vacant and off the market beds and rooms or properties in San Jose alone, or Santa Clara County. I forget the jurisdiction. And that would solve that right there alone. If you rented or just gave those out to everyone who was unhoused, you would instantly get to zero unhoused, because we've got about 10,000 now in the county, and a lot more than that in the city, or a lot, 6,000-7,000 in the city of San Jose alone. So we would solve our problem right away if we could figure that problem out, but we don't have a solution for that, and because we live in a capitalist society, we have to tolerate and live with this until we decide to change the way that government and that public sector and the private and the nonprofit sector respond to these crises, and what they choose to do to lift people up. Other than that, you're just dealing with the open market, and that's the world we've created for ourselves. So we can't be surprised that this is happening.
And I think a lot of people, it's largely been right, but it wasn't a good message. A lot of people were told to buy a house because if you buy a house now, it's going to go up in value, and you can essentially treat it as like a little bank almost.
Completely. Are you kidding, man? The good wife and I, we were lucky. I'll give you a really quick Cliff's Notes backstory, where we had one of our parents pass away. We inherited most of the house we live in now. We still had to buy out another relative who was a co-owner of the property. We've had to take on a loan that they had on the property, so we still have a mortgage, right? But we're the lucky ones in this picture. There's no earthly way we'd be able to afford to live in the city or to have a home or own a home, and even then, on top of that, you've got property taxes, you've got maintenance, upkeep. I've had just calling a plumber and paying $300 every time the plumbing breaks down, right? Like there's so many things that make this housing home ownership unaffordable and out of reach for so many people, and it's you just basically have to luck out in some ways to make it work. But even we struggle with how to figure it out. So, and we've got people, but to the point you were making, we've made more money in the appreciation of the value on this home since we acquired it than either one of us or we have combined from our day jobs. Right. So go figure.
I mean, like my parents,
as far as take home savings,
my parents have a big house with a pool that they bought in Fremont for like $81,000 in like 1980.
Right. Exactly. My mom is in the same situation in Willow Glen, right? She bought her house for like 5 figures in Willow Glen, and it's now worth like $1.72 million, something like that. And that's just on Zillow. Forget what it would actually go for if she tried to sell it. So, we could stop working today, and as far as wealth goes, we'd be fine because we'd be accruing wealth on this property.
You just have to keep pulling out money from the house, though.
Correct. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. We have to take out further loans or lines of credit. So we do have to work to pay the mortgage and to pay it off, so that our child then can inherit it clear and free and have a place to live, and then just have to worry about their property taxes and their utility bills and their cable bills and all those other, and health insurance and everything else you have to worry about paying for these day and age. So the fact that you have to make, and I'd like to dig more into that story and find out where's the baseline? Like who is the baseline for that $250,000 raise? It does not seem excessive necessarily, but I'm curious to know, like, what's the baseline? Is that below median income?
Like 100,
120?
Like, what are we?
Right.
Where are we at?
Because median income now is pretty high in Santa Clara County and San Jose. Both my wife and the good wife and I make six figures each, and we're both below median. So we're technically like poor, or low, sorry, not poor, but we're low income by San Jose standards.
Speaking of intergenerational wealth, real quick, me and my sister have been asking my parents why they're keeping that house. And my dad's like, this thing just keeps going up in value, and you guys are going to get to split this money when we're both gone, so that maybe both of you can, my sister and she's like, there's a family situation going on with her house. He's like, you might be able to pay off a good chunk of your house and Dave go buy a condo or something. He's like, we're not getting rid of this. He's like, it'd be the dumbest thing in the world if we want. He's like, we're getting old and we want to hook you guys up. So we're going to keep this until we can't.
Yeah, do not. Like I've ordered my mom at this point. No, she owns the house free and clear. Right? There's absolutely no reason. She's perfectly comfortable. There's no reason to move out or go anywhere else. Like, just hold on, because I have two brothers who do not have prospects like I do, and they're going to need something. So not for me, but for the family, right? So if you do own property in the South Bay, one, make sure someone's living in it just to be part of the solution, not the part of the problem. And two, don't ever sell it.
Right. Anyway, we're going to move on. We have we have one more. We have get your shit together.
Yeah, I think we are getting your shit together. So it was actually a struggle this week. There weren't a lot of people that needed to get their shit together, but someone who did was the city of San Jose, very last minute. So some folks might know that there was a huge, I think it made national news actually, there was a huge explosion at a Central Valley warehouse where they were storing lots of fireworks.
Oh yeah, a lot of people on Twitter were blaming Antifa for it.
Right. And I didn't want to make hay out of that story because there were some unfortunate deaths associated with it. So it's not as though we're trying to obviously laud on that. But it did have impacts locally. And we're going to find out one of those impacts from NBC Bay Area about San Jose's only fireworks show. Sanctioned fireworks show.
Let's move on now. San Jose made a last-minute change, out with the fireworks and in with the drones. City leaders had to cancel San Jose's only fireworks show because of that massive explosion at the fireworks facility near Sacramento in Yolo County. NBC's Alyssa Gord has the story from Lake Cunningham Park.
At San Jose's Lake Cunningham Park, you can hear the pop of illegal fireworks in the distance. This is exactly what firefighters and city leaders don't want to hear or see.
Look, the reality is people are going to do fireworks, okay?
That's really nice hair.
As leaders is to deter as many fireworks and as many people who want to do it by providing a safe place for people to gather and build community.
That safe space is Lake Cunningham Park. Tomorrow, the city will host...
That park looks like shit, dude.
That was a really bad angle. It's a nice park, but that was a really bad angle.
This is why that massive fire and explosions at a fireworks warehouse on Tuesday in Yolo County.
That was just 4th of July in Oakland. I don't know what they're talking about.
Despite having to cancel the fireworks show, city leaders hope people will still come to Lake Cunningham and stay away from the illegal fireworks. Drone shows have proved to be popular in other Bay Area cities, like this one at the Alameda County Fairgrounds.
It's worth it for our community, and that drone show is going to hopefully allow the opportunity for people to celebrate in a healthy way and deter some of that behavior that we don't necessarily want to see.
I have that exact polo shirt. He wears it better, but
San Jose firefighters visited homes in the East Hills, dropping off door hangers with the do's and don'ts for those who live in wildland fire areas.
We have approximately 7,000 homes that we've identified as a high hazard. So with that being said, we're out monitoring the homes.
Firefighters will be on alert, and so will police who plan to use drones to look for illegal activity. You could be fined up to $50,000 for selling illegal fireworks. In San Jose, Alyssa Gord, NBC Bay Area News.
Dude, I'd use fireworks to try to shoot down the fucking drone.
Get creative with it, right? Yeah. So I don't know what your opinion is about fireworks shows in general or fireworks. Producer Dave, do you have an opinion? Do you?
Man, they used to do it. They used to do it downtown, and we'd actually go up, like it was a little further away from where it happened, like right there by Children's Discovery Museum. But we just go up on top, like at Post Street on top of Max, and fucking drink and watch the fucking fireworks. It's pretty fucking cool, actually. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, I think that having if you're going to have like fireworks, I think that having them in a downtown area is a lot smarter actually than having them by a park where if you saw like all the grass was dried up and shit, you burn that fucking park down and everybody in it, something goes wrong there. And in downtown, it wouldn't be great if something goes wrong, right? But there's less to just catch on fire. So I don't understand why they wanted to do it all the way out there instead of downtown. Is it just traffic, or because it seems less safe to do fireworks in an area with all that dry brush?
Yeah, a lot of factors. It's almost like by happenstance or sort of by proxy. There was, as you mentioned, for a long time a downtown fireworks show, and then it just became cost prohibitive, and the promoters and people putting it on weren't willing to front the money anymore. The city subsidized it. The local Rotary Club subsidized it for a while and kept it floating.
Oh, it was fun, and it was happening in downtown San Jose, so they got rid of it.
Right. And the idea with the downtown show is obviously has that the community building aspect, but it's also downtown is where normally you have a lot of people, you have a lot of noise. So it wouldn't be out of place to have a fireworks show that draws a lot of people. Right. But the cost of putting one on and shutting down, the city has fees for shutting down the road and providing security and doing all these things. Right. That they could waive and could figure out a way around if they really weren't interested in having a community celebration. But what happened was, as that celebration kind of was, it fits and starts, there was also an interest in having other sanctioned events throughout the city, because San Jose is pretty large geographically. So people from Almaden didn't want to come all the way downtown to see the fireworks. They wanted their own show. So there was a show at Almaden Lake.
I can't blame them. They didn't build no light rail out there.
That's true. I mean, they did. It just doesn't. They did. This takes fucking forever to get there.
That's right. In Almaden, you got to go all the way back through fucking. They got to go all the way back through fucking Milpitas and the north side. You got to switch
something
fucking
like
trains
that.
And shit. You ride your bike faster.
It's a mess. I mean, I don't think they have to go that far, but it's still a mess. You have to go past.
Oh no, on light rail, yeah. If you're coming from the east side on light rail.
On the east side, yeah, but Almaden has its own line that branches off.
Oh wait a minute, that's okay. That's south side. Yeah. Okay, yeah,
we're getting to that. So at the Evergreen, this show is on the east side in the Evergreen area, right? At Lake Cunningham Park, and you're absolutely right. That area is not serviced yet by light rail.
Who would get on the 22?
Not many people, except for people who needed to. I love it myself. The Express is amazing. It gets you
it's a little bit of an
really
actual
quickly.
City in San Jose.
It is. It's a little microcosm, as it were. Anyway, so another festival developed at Lake Cunningham Park because of the desire for folks on the east side to have their own too. And what ended up happening was this was the only one left standing in San Jose because the downtown one ran out of financing and money and people willing to put it on. And the Almaden one was not able to be held at Almaden Lake because that lake is now toxic with duck poop, basically, long story short. And they couldn't find another location for that one last minute. So this ended up being the only San Jose city-sanctioned fireworks show. So they had all their eggs in this basket, and the basket blew up. So unfortunately, maybe fortunately, who knows? I'm kind of agnostic on fireworks shows. They're fun. I've always enjoyed fireworks, but at the same time, it seems like it's just a lot of waste of money and time and noise and environmental pollution for a few minutes of fun that could be had by drones or some other live music or something else. Yeah. So I don't care enough. I don't care enough, but I do know that we need to get our shit together and figure out how we can encourage more events and more things downtown. If we really want people downtown, you have to make it more conducive to doing events downtown. And the reason why people don't do events downtown is because it's fucking expensive. San Jose Jazz Festival, they do pretty fucking well as far as drawing people in. It's one of the biggest events in San Jose every year. It draws more people from out of San Jose than any other event just about that we hold all year, except for major sporting events. And yet they have to pay the city an inordinate amount of money just to shut down the streets and gets police on security detail and do the things that they need to do to hold a festival. So much to the point where they get a grant from the city to do their festival, and they end up paying most of that grant, if not all of it, back to the city in these costs and fees, right? So it's like, what's the point at the end of the day? So we need to make it easier to do things downtown. If we want people to come downtown and live downtown and play downtown, and we want people from Almaden and East Side and everywhere else to come downtown, we need to make it easier to get here, and we need to make it easier to actually do the things that draw people here, and we'll make them overcome those obstacles to getting there, right? Like they're getting on the 22, right? We need to make downtown a place where people want to get on the 22 to come because the shit's happening, right? And we're not doing that here right now. So.
Yeah, and I think like the only cool thing going on in San Jose kind of is the caravan, and the kind of people that go to the caravan are totally cool with taking the 22.
Fucking A, man. And I'll jam there anytime. I'll absolutely play there anytime. My band is hopefully always welcome there. But
we're going to move on to Downballot / Recall Watch. We only have one story, and of course it's about San Jose mayor and possible 2028 presidential candidate, Mayor Ed 209, Matt Mahan.
Highly likely presidential candidate, and he's right here. It falls under Downballot Watch because of that, because he's just constantly running for something, it seems like, but also Recall Watch because this is the kind of thing that you do to, you would take a stand on to avoid a recall or to avoid anyone, positing that you should be recalled. So here he is defending himself and his life.
A San Jose family is livid with the legal system tonight. A homeless man with a history of mental health issues who assaulted their child on a San Jose street walked out of court a free man today after spending just weeks in jail.
NBC Bay Area's Flavio Lacayo spoke with the child's mother, who's now demanding the county make changes to prevent this from happening again.
On his way to school about 2 months ago, this young man was physically and verbally assaulted by a homeless man with a long history of mental and drug addiction issues. On Tuesday,
I mean, that sucks, but it doesn't look like anybody was injured. Like, it's like simple assault. Like, that sucks. Like, don't do that to somebody. Don't do that to anybody because you just don't know who you're doing that to.
Right.
You don't know. Like, what if that young man was like a bit of a tough guy and fucking chased him down and whooped his ass, like,
or had friends, or had a gang. I mean, we still use it. It's still the term. So yeah, if he had a posse, right, or had homies to come and help him out.
I mean, I know.
Yeah, that's just silly.
I know that's, they said a child is a minor. He's like 16, 17 or whatever. Don't do this. But like, this is not like this. This is a drive-by slapping.
I was clocked like this in Santa Cruz once, just randomly when I was like 19 and visiting a friend, and we were just walking downtown Santa Cruz, and some dude just came up and clocked me, like clothesline for no reason whatsoever, right? I didn't even acknowledge the dude's presence. We were just walking past each other, and he clocked me and walked off. And I'm not the kind of guy that's going to chase the guy down and get into an altercation of some sort, nor am I the kind of person that's going to run to the nearest police officer and be like, officer. It was random. It sucked. I had a sore nose and head for a minute or two, right, and didn't have a good rest of my night. But at the end of the day, the next day, I woke up and I went on with my life and realized that shit fucking happens. And people, if you go out downtown and places, if you go out your door, right, like the old dude earlier, if you go out your door, shit's going to happen. And
right,
you gotta, just
at least this guy wasn't on a bike.
Right, at least it wasn't like it obviously wasn't targeted. It obviously wasn't, it was random. It wasn't like the guy came up and just beat the living crap out of this guy or had any reason to, and seemed to just walk off and just be having a moment. And it absolutely sucks. Like, and if there's a way to, get some recompense or some, whatever you want, then go for it, right? But obviously the guy needs help. So maybe that's what the story is more about than anything else.
Mayor Ed 209 hasn't entered the scene yet, so I'm sure he'll probably have very nice things, very normal things to say.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to blame someone for not doing more that's not him.
Set the man free. Tonight, the victim's mother says she's angry and doesn't understand why he's being led back on the streets.
He's served only about 30 days in jail.
That seems about,
it seems reasonable.
Man, I don't know. 17-year-old me would have been like, hey, you do that again. I'd be on the news being like, hey, try that again. Right. I know what you look like now. Try that again. That's what I'm saying on the news.
My main frustration is, he brutally attacked a child.
I wouldn't call that brutal. You don't do that. Like, my God. like for your own personal safety and for like the good of the community.
And it's not like a 12-year-old kid that got smacked up. This is a grown-ass 17-year-old.
It's a teenager. And again, you don't hit anybody, and we certainly don't want people going around hitting minors. But like,
of course
fucking,
not.
we brutal assault. Like, listen, don't hit people. Fucking don't hit people. I don't know. It's in San Jose, man. I don't know. Maybe there's a little something about Oakland where you probably wouldn't ever think to do that. Actually, right?
Right. But maybe there would be consequences, right? You don't.
Somebody in chat called it
who
casually attacking a teenager, which is like still don't do it. But like we didn't see, It was like an open hand. It looked like.
Yeah, it was not brutal. Implies to me like you beat them down. They're on the ground. You're beating them and over and over again, right, and causing some severe damage, right? This is not really qualifies that, but it's mom, and moms are gonna mom.
Criminal history.
Now Michelle Martinez is calling on Santa Clara County
that kid does not look like a 17-year-old.
to do more to protect people from the violent unhoused.
He looks pretty excited to be on TV.
With mental health. To do more to protect people from the violent unhoused residents and state authorities to do more to protect people from the violent unhoused residents.
Come on, news. What are you doing? Protect people from the violent. Dude, the people there's violence all over the place, and it's not like unique to like people who are homeless. I hate when they frame it like this.
Yeah, but it plays right into 209's narrative. Unfortunately,
and he hasn't even shown up yet.
Struggling with mental health issues, people who clearly pose a threat to others.
Our victim statements basically begged and pleaded the judge to sentence him to court-mandated drug and alcohol rehab and potentially.
But how do you know that he's on drugs?
Mental health services. So the judge did do that, but it is the responsibility of this.
So they did what you wanted?
Now to go check in with court services.
Yeah.
The attack happened in San Jose last May and was caught by a surveillance camera. The city's mayor says he believes police and the court system did their job, but believes the county now needs to step up.
The county's been talking about rebuilding a jail for years. There are 5,000 beds in the local jail system, about 3,000 of which are being used. There's space at Elmwood. The county has a $12.5 billion budget a year. We need our county leaders to step up, get creative, and find capacity.
We're here just to kind of speak out to the community and let them know that this man is back out on our streets again.
For now, Michelle says she'll do what she can to make sure no one else has to face what her son did. In San Jose, Flavio Lacayo, NBC Bay Area News.
There's some mamas out there that would have just beat the fuck out of that guy, honestly.
Pretty much. Yeah, I've chased him down, right? All the things. I don't know how you can blame the county or blame the system on this, because it sounds like he did time. He was caught. He did time. And just sounds like people were not satisfied with how much time he did. But I don't know if Ms. Martinez ever spent even one night in jail. But 30 days in jail is no picnic, especially if you actually do have some behavioral health or drug addiction issues. Like being in jail is probably not the best place for you at all.
Whatever you're at in a jail in jail probably sucks, right?
Right. And she pointed out that the judge or the magistrate, whoever it was that heard the case, commissioner, gave them exactly what they asked for in their victim statements, right? They asked for him to be remanded to treatment and programs, and he is. Like she just said, they did what we wanted. So I'm struggling to understand what like the ongoing issue is, right?
And again,
obviously it sucks that your kid got hit, but like you've gotten everything you wanted. The person got punished. They got the order that you wanted. So what is the big deal here, other than propping up Mayor Ed 209 and his arrest the homeless policies?
Like the framing of, and just, it's when I'm glad I didn't, but I almost laughed when I saw like what they were describing as like a horrible assault. Again, like assault, fucking don't hit people. Like it's bad for the community. Hitting somebody is wrong. Like it might be bad for you because you just don't fucking know. And but the description, even like leading up to that and then afterward, like didn't really match. I'm stunned that motherfucker got 30 days in jail for that. Like if somebody did that to me, I'd either go fucking chase him down and hit him back, or just be like, well, I guess that's life in the big city, right? Like,
yeah. like I said, the kids seem pretty excited, in the clip, the little B-roll clip after their interview, right, for the news. Like, he seemed pretty happy to have been on the news and smiling and waving, right? And his mom's like probably saying like, don't be so excited. Like, come on, let's just cross the street. So, he's obviously excited to be local famous. Probably telling all his friends about it. Like, look for me on the news tonight. Like, oh, bro, you got clocked. Yeah, man, let me tell you all about it.
Like, it's a high school student. That kid, the last year in high school, many, many times, either saw or heard about far greater violence than that.
Sure.
Just being a high school student.
I mean, if he goes to James Lick right across the street from Peter's Bakery, they're like, he's probably seen a lot more shit. So, he's probably loving this. He's probably like a local legend with his friends. Like, oh man. So
I bet his friends are calling him a pussy.
Right. So, once again, Mayor at 209 doing the performative dance, just trying to, nail down his message and on brand. Well, it's his brand that the county has to do something because the city doesn't do those things, social services, and he blames, and he and his ilk blame all of the housing crisis pretty much on behavioral health and drug addiction issues, and that's the primary driver, even though we all know it's not. But he makes the case that it is. Correct, and he makes the case that it is in order to get political gain. And what's really disgusting. And I want to move on to end another thing, but
yeah,
because I've harped on this before. But what's really disgusting is that this guy and his fellow, Mayor Eds are not dumb. They are not stupid people. They are well educated. They are privileged. The man attended Harvard, right? Like he went to our local college prep academy, right? He came from humble upbringing, according to him, right? And studied and did all these things and worked in Bolivia, I think, building irrigation ditches, right? And worked for Teach for America and did all these things. So he's not a stupid person, nor does he lack perspective, which leads me to believe that the things he does and these policies he proposes and these performative stances he takes completely for personal political gain. And it's disgusting because he should know better. And it offends me because we went to the same college prep, right, school. And whenever I say where I went to high school, I feel like ashamed in some circles because I feel like it's a bad word around here in some of my circles, right, my progressive activist circles. And when people find out that I went there, they're like, wow, really? And yes, like people like me do exist, but the majority of what they see is people like him, like Mayor Sam Liccardo, other former mayors and leaders who espouse all the right things, but don't actually do the right thing when it comes down to it. And it's really frustrating.
And this is a missed opportunity also for like the news and for maybe public officials to at the end a little blurb like what should you do in a situation, like what are good things that you can do in a situation like this. I feel like the news could have spent 30 seconds at the end going, if you're assaulted or you believe you're going to be assaulted, here's the things you need to do. One, get away. Two, make sure that you check and make sure that you're not injured. If you're injured, please go seek medical attention, and then you can decide whether or not you need to get the police involved. They didn't do that, and I mean, I don't know, man. If I ran up to you and if I was drunk and ran up to try to give you a high five, I might brutally attack you in the same way just by fucking missing and hitting you in the face. We'd have a funny story about the time that Dave brutally assaulted the councilman.
Maybe it was you in Santa Cruz that one night. Who knows? We could have both been on a bender.
Maybe. I don't know.
It was dark out.
I'm not that kind of
dark out. So. Yeah, it was dark out. I couldn't be sure one way or the other. So plausible.
So you don't know it wasn't me.
I know it wasn't. I can't say it wasn't you. Can't say it was. So we'll just leave it at that. So that's our down ballot watch for this week. So look for Mayor Ed 209's announcement about his presidential run fairly soon because the Iowa caucuses are coming up in 2.5 years. In another thing, we might have a human interest. We might have an animal interest. In this case, it's a wooden interest story, and we're going to get more from ABC7. They started out. We'll close it out with ABC7.
Mysterious wooden benches are appearing at bus stops all across the Bay Area. While they can be convenient, many people are now asking who put these benches there.
ABC 7 News reporter Luz Pena is live in San Francisco at one of those mystery benches, it looks like, with some answers. Luz?
Maybe go to the website that's painted onto the bench.
Nah.
Hey guys, yes, this is one of the 8 benches that basically appeared overnight in San Francisco.
And it's already been tagged.
These benches in the East Bay, and today I was on a mission to find out who is behind them. These
SFBABC.org.
The Bay Area. This map shows close to 90 spots in the East Bay and 8 in San Francisco. You can see the benches screwed right into the concrete on city streets. What do you think about the bench?
I love the bench.
He's like, I have to wait for the bus and I'd like to sit down. What do you think I think of the bench?
Look at me, I'm fucking old. Shit.
I was so excited when I saw it.
I like it better than the old one because the glass gets broken all the time on those.
But who are the people behind them, and is this legal? The only clue is a website on the benches leading us to the San Francisco Bench Collective. We went to the East Bay, where one of the first benches was installed about 2 years ago, and met Carter Lavin. He is in contact with the mysterious group behind the benches.
We have a go-between.
His deep throat.
Hire a handler.
His deep throat for the fucking bench mob.
Oh my God. He's spokesperson for the bench.
This is awesome. This is such a great story.
This is very down-ballot-y.
It's super down-ballot-y.
Is working with cities, working with this benching group to get this effort more fully legalized, because right now it's operating in a legal gray area.
We confirmed this group focuses on bus stops, and everyone making them are volunteers.
Especially those where a bench could be there. Like this spot right here, there's plenty of space. It is ADA compliant to do that.
San Francisco got its first benches June 8th. We are on 16th and Bryant here in San Francisco. Many residents telling me this bench appeared here just a couple weeks ago. Across the street, you can see an SFMTA bus shelter, but on this side of the street, there was nothing. So several residents were telling me that before this bench appeared here, they were just standing here waiting for their bus.
I appreciate whoever's doing it because it gives an opportunity for especially our elders in our community a place to just come out today and get some good sun.
But the city is not too excited about these benches. In a statement, San Francisco's
Los Ponchos is so good.
said in part, we are aware that benches have been installed without permits. While the benches are intended as a public convenience, we have the legal responsibility to ensure access and public safety. We also have concerns about maintenance and liability. Despite this group is moving forward.
Plans to expand to other counties in the region.
So I want to also point to the graffiti that you see on this bench. This is one of the concerns that the city of San Francisco has, is who is going to clean this up?
Nobody. It's a fucking wooden bench. Nobody has to clean it up. If you're sitting on it, you're looking the other way and you can't even see it. It's not even an eyesore if you're using
If it's
the
being
bench.
if it's being used, then no one sees the graffiti. So what's the big deal, right? And it's like not, you know.
The question about the permitting is part of the story, right? But everyone I've spoken to today has been glad that they have a place to sit while they wait for their bus. Live here in San Francisco, Luz Pena, ABC 7 News.
Yeah, no doubt. But Luz, where are the volunteers getting the money to pay for all these benches?
Yes, so what I was told is that these volunteers get money from people who watch stories like this, and they basically say, hey, I want to join this group. I want to learn how to make benches. I want to donate to benches in my city, and that's how they get the means to
so free commercial.
benches. They cost about $100 for materials, and obviously the labor is free because they're all volunteers making these benches. Back to you.
Man, I got a couple of fucking locations where I fucking think they could put a bench. I'm going to hit them up. I'm going to be like, hey, at the corner of X, what? Oh, I know a place over by Fruitvale Bart that sometimes there ain't no fucking bench that anywhere to sit or whatever, and there's plenty of room there.
Yeah. All I know is my good friend Carter Levin's got to watch out if he's going to be the go-between, because eventually someone's going to come for him and to try to get to this mob of bench makers and bench provocateurs and seating terrorists. So, you know, Carter, watch out for yourself, bro. When they come, they're going to come for you. So make sure you have plausible deniability. Good on these folks. I know what I've said previously about the folks who installed their own speed bumps right in the intersection to prevent sideshows. That does actually have a public safety hazard and threat and does impact a broader community. Building benches for folks to sit on, especially when they're in a space that's ADA compliant and who's, I don't see why Public Works or anyone should take a real big issue with this and priority. Yeah, they're not permitted, and city probably is within their rights to take them down, but I don't see this as being a top priority, and just let the people sit. It's my opinion.
Yeah, this is
and good on this group.
Somebody in chat mentioned that they're not even they don't even have like a big bar in the middle of it to fuck with the homeless. So
right, or skateboarders, right? Divots to mess with skateboarders. So, hey, it's really cool. It can be multi-purpose public use. So if only it had like a toilet on the end of it or something.
Who's going to maintain it? It's a wooden bench. There's wooden benches that are in parks that have been there for fucking 80 years, dude.
Yeah, the city can't keep up with their own benches anyway. So, and who knows? Maybe these volunteers will be out there mending their own benches, right? I did love that the bench went up and overnight it already had tag on it. So it's like, who cares if there's a tag on it?
It's already part of the neighborhood. They're already tagging it.
Yeah, it's got character, right? They've accepted it, right? And you don't see NIMBY groups out marching in the streets to remove the benches, right? So good on them. It looks like they've struck a nerve. They found a thing to do that's going to be beneficial. And that's why that's another thing for this episode of Downballot.
Speaking of this episode of Downballot, I guess the episode's over. How do you feel about reading the show out?
I really wish I could read. Well, I'll work on it. Let me see. I'll wing it this time. I will do that. Producer Dave, thank you so much as always for running the dials, and thank you, listener and viewer, for joining us. This is a show that we do live on Twitch and other resources every Tuesday night, except when we don't, at 7:30 Pacific. So please tune in and stay tuned for public comment in the red light portion of the show later tonight. And also check out echoplexmedia.com for all of the wonderful programming we do and how to download this as a podcast, the 69th best podcast in California, according to some dudes. So be sure to tune in regularly, tell your friends, get vaccinated, wear a mask where it's appropriate, pants are optional. We're going to leave you with some audible smoke and wish you a wonderful week. I hope you take care. Peace out.
Time to get the party started. Pick up my phone just to check and see who's calling. Dress up real nice for the ladies at the bar, and I'm driving in my car just to get to where they are. Here at the local scene is where I plant my feet. It's where I smoke my cigarette and I hold my drink. I look at all my friends, they're all blazing green. Here at the front of the stage waiting for MTV. Where are those guys who's standing next to me with a pipe in his hand ready to blaze for me? About 5 minutes later we're all singing Queen. I get the fuck up on stage and rock the scene. Yeah, we do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. We do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy that band. I turn and head back to the bar for a refill, man, because you know where we are. We're headed out to the car to smoke another one and another one. Now just when the magic starts kicking in, I hear relapse playing, you know it's time to head in. Alright everybody, now it's time to grab a new drink, spark it if you got it, and then pass it to me. Yeah, we do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. We do what we want to do, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy that band. Last up on the bill for the show tonight is Down and Dirty at 5, so we're headed outside to spark up another joint. Now who's got my lighter? Stoner E, of course, shouldn't you be inside? I'm all up in this bitch, being who I gotta be. I'm fucked up like the U.S. economy. The truth is that I don't think logically. Stoner E take you on a psychedelic odyssey. Now inside motherfuckers is rockin' me, and outside shit we smoke a lot of broccoli. Rocky the roller, yo, the sexy girl be jockin' me. Ain't too drunk to fuck, but I'll probably do it sloppily. We do what we want, what we wanna do, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Dance with the band and enjoy the band. We do what we want, what we wanna do, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Molly say that he like jamming and he hope he like jamming too. Well, I gotta say, thank you, Bob, we do. Yes, I gotta say, thank you, Bob, we do. Well, Bob Marley said that he like jamming and he hope he like jamming too. Well, I gotta say, thank you, Bob, we do. Yes, I gotta say, thank you, Bob, we do. Yeah, we do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. We do what we want, and what we wanna do, what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy that band. We do what we want, what we wanna do, what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy that band. We do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit